Before dawn breaks, the northern sky is still dark, and the air over the Hausa plain is cold enough to sting your skin. But somewhere in the distance, you hear it, the slow, steady rhythm of hooves, soft at first, then louder, a troop of cavalry slicing through the morning mist. At the front of them, riding a horse taller than most men, is a woman dressed in armor. Her presence is sharp, fierce, and commanding. No hesitation, no fear. This is not myth. This is not Nollywood movie. This is not Wakanda. This is Amina of Zazzau. You are listening to Once Upon a Naija, the storytelling podcast where Nigerian history stops forming serious and finally starts making sense. I am your host, Ife, and today we are talking about the warrior queen whose real life was more dramatic than most Nollywood scripts. Now, let's be honest, when you hear Queen Amina, you've probably heard gist, random textbook mentions and summaries, one or two exaggerated folktales, or that one rumor that make Nigerian whisper like secondary school students. But today, let's meet the real Amina, the woman behind the legend. Amina was born in the 1500s in the city-state of Zazzau, which is the modern-day Zaria. She wasn't some random village girl who accidentally stumbled into heroism. No, she came from ruling family, political royalty. Her mother, Bakwa Turunku, was queen before her. Power was literally the family business. From childhood, Amina was trained for leadership. She learned politics, diplomacy. She learned warfare and strategy. Basically everything except how to keep quiet. While other princesses were probably being taught fine etiquette, Amina was learning how to swing a sword. Before the West start talking about women liberation, by the time she became Magadia, the crown princess, Amina was already commanding respect in the palace, and by the time her mother passed, Amina took the throne, not as a ceremonial figurehead, but as a commander-in-chief. She led the armies, real armies, into real war and battles. Let's paint a picture. Imagine Amina riding into battle with her cavalry horses, trained to run, maneuver, and dominate. She wasn't chaos, it was choreography. I like the word choreography a lot. She's fast, disciplined, terrifying warfare. Her soldiers respected her, not because she was queen, but because she was good. And then there were the walls. The famous Amina walls. You've probably heard people say Amina built walls across northern Nigeria as if she was the original Julius Berger. Here is the truth. Amina expanded Zazzau's territory, fortified key cities, and strengthened trade routes. She didn't build every wall in the entire north, but the structure associated with her leadership, massive defensive fortifications, were remarkable for her time. What Amina really built was influence, strategic land control, safe trade networks. She built alliances, structures, and power. Imagine controlling commerce in a region where caravans moved across the desert, carrying gold, leather, cola nuts, salt, metalworks, to mention a few. Amina made Zazzau a serious economic force. Now, let's address the myth. You know them. That's one particular you are thinking about right now. The one people whisper in their sharing government secrets. Yes, that one. Here's the thing. Historical records are complicated. Some stories get spiced, oral tradition evolve, and honestly, some dramatic details were added by outsiders who didn't understand Hausa cultural storytelling. So, let's focus on what's documented. Amina was a brilliant military strategist, a competent ruler, a woman whose leadership reshaped the region. She expanded Zazzau's borders, protected trade, and transformed a kingdom into a major Hausa power. And she did this at a time when many societies were deeply patriarchal, a time when a woman leading the army was unthinkable. But Amina simply led, and history adjusted. Her legacy is undeniable, and this day she is remembered not just in Zaria but across the northern Africa and the entire world. Statues, folklores, songs were rendered in memory of Amina everywhere she's been mentioned. But here is the important question. Why didn't we learn the full story? Well, colonial accounts filtered and twisted African story. Oral stories were simplified. Important context was removed. And when you mix that with patriarchy editing, you get fragment pieces of the truth instead of the whole picture. But when you look closely, Amina's story shows us something powerful. Leadership is not gendered. Strength is not masculine. Courage is not limited. And legacy is built by action. Amina didn't ask for permission to lead. She's just simply led. And 1,000 years later, we are here talking about her. It's a reminder that African women have always been powerful, long before hashtag and conferences and motivational quotes. Thank you for listening to Once Upon a Naija again. If today's journey opened your eyes or gave you gist to use in your next discussion, make sure to follow, subscribe and share. Next episode, we are diving into Nigeria mystery so long, old, so strange, and so fascinating that historians still can't explain it. A civilization that rose, shined, and then vanished without a trace. Trust me, you don't want to miss episode 3. See you there.